The way that we go about fishing, commercial fishing in New Zealand, actually is at an enormous cost to a whole lot of species that are not the target species. Seabirds, we have more than 80% of New Zealand's seabirds at risk of extinction, and yet we're, by our estimate, catching at least 15,000 of them through fishing methods. Well, that just can't be acceptable. At the same time, species like Maui's dolphin, Hector's dolphin, New Zealand sea lion, these are animals that are not the target of fishing methods, but because the commercial incentive is, of course, to use whatever the cheapest method is, they are paying the price. Our precious native species are paying the price of that approach to fishing.
If you think about the net on a trawler, when you put that net in the water, it has to be held open, and the way you do that is you use these things called trawl doors. And so as the net is being pulled forward by the boat, the trawl doors are helping to keep the net open. Another thing the doors do is they actually, in many cases, are designed to be scraping the sediment on the seafloor. And so they're stirring up clouds of sediment. And so those clouds of sediment actually help herd the fish into the back of the net. And then between those doors and the actual net itself, particularly nets that are being used in an area where there might be rocks or large other kinds of structures on the seafloor that you want the net to ride up and over, so it's just not going to get shredded, there can often be big metal or rubber, almost like tire rolling pin kind of structures that help the net roll forward. The wingspan, the distance between the doors on a trawl might be measured in tens to hundreds of metres. I mean, some of the trawls that work on a deep water fleet, you could fly a 747 into the net if you wanted to. So there's lots of different bits of gear, all of which have different kinds of impact on the seafloor. But collectively, that kind of gear is often used over large tracts of the seafloor and repeatedly over multiple years, and it has profound effects on the way it changes the ecology of the seafloor.
It's all those little microorganisms living there that take all the nutrients in the ocean, basically the matter that settles on there, and turns it back into food. Now, if a bottom trawler or a scallop dredge ploughs that up, all those organisms are gone. And some studies say it takes up to 7 years before that piece of the seafloor can regenerate food. So it would be like, I don't know, the farmer up here shifting the stock off his paddocks and then pouring diesel over the grass and wondering why he can't raise any stock the next year. But with commercial fishing, let's move on to the next patch. Trawl it up.